Like an indecisive rower, the market can't choose either or. So is it up or down? This is Invest with Jacob. Okay, guys, so in yesterday's video, we talked about the fact that the market needed to break support to open the door to the downside to give us the pullback we've been looking for. Otherwise, we'd look for another new high before pulling back after that. The market gave us neither as it traded sideways all day. And now the question is it up or down from here? I'll get into that in just one second. But first, if you're new here, welcome to the show, guys. My name is Jacob Gabbard, and this is Invest with Jacob, where we use Elliott Wave Theory to break down the SP 500 and the Nasdaq. I highly encourage you to hit that subscribe button down below so that you can get our daily S&P updates, our trade setups, and our buy alerts. All right, guys, let's jump into the chart and take a look. Okay, guys, so here we are on the 1 hour futures chart for the S&P 500, and I have zoomed into the upper portion of the move. If you want a bigger picture look, you can check out Monday's video, as I do my bigger picture videos on Monday, and I have an in-depth overview of that. For where we are now, it does look like we're still trying to complete this wave 5. We completed wave 3 up, and then wave 4 down. And then it does look like it's taking shape as a diagonal. These are all clear 3-wave structures here. You have a 1, 2, and then remember they're ABC, so you have 3. And then what it looks like we could have gotten here is 4, and then an A and a B, and then we look for C higher to complete 5 here, around the 45.85 to 45.90 area. And given price action, I said yesterday that off of this high here, this is very corrective, so we would expect support to hold. Now, whether that was upper support or lower support was to be determined, but so far it's been upper support that's holding. And as long as it continues to hold, we should see them press higher over this high from last Wednesday into that 45.85 to 90 area. They did come up and basically double top on the SPX and missed by about 3 points on the ES, which is a little strange that they didn't just go ahead and push higher and make a new high here. So I do expect them to come back up and test this area and ultimately put in a slightly higher high. I don't necessarily think they'll run away with it to the upside. We have some divergences and different things that are starting to look like the market is ready to pull back. But again, until we break support, pressure is up, and the next target higher is that 45.85 to 90 area to complete this wave 5, which would complete either this A wave or the bigger wave 2 we talked about on Monday. Now, if they are going to move down, the first thing they need to do is break yesterday's low at 45.48, but ultimately the real number we need to break is 45.38. So right down here, these two lows over here from last Tuesday, as well as the high here from Friday before Thanksgiving, and the high on Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So these two highs and these two lows converge at right around 45.38 to give us a nice support area. So they do need to break through that. And if this is tracing out as a diagonal, as it looks, we would expect it to be pretty swift moving. So we would like to see a high and then a straight breakdown, which should take us back toward the 4,500 area. Now, this is another area of support, so we could see a small bounce here, but if they have momentum, obviously they can break right through here. But this would be the next area to watch for a bounce. And then from 45.03 or 45.100, if they break, it should be a pretty rapid fall down to this 44.30 area, just because there's nothing in here to catch it. There's no structure here, and it's pretty thin. It's a gap. It would open the door to close that gap. So a break of 4,500 should accelerate the move down, but we need 45.38 to break before we can even consider the down move starting. Now, once we do start the down move, that will be what tells us the story on whether we're in a bigger wave A here or this bigger wave 2. If that down move starts with a 5-wave structure, then it would be bearish and we'd be looking much lower. If it starts with a 3-wave structure, that would be bullish, and we would be looking for support to hold in that 4,300 to 4,350 area, and then be looking higher from there towards new all-time highs around 4,900. Over on the Nasdaq. Now, the Nasdaq is a little bit different. They didn't challenge the high nearly as much as ES did. You have choppy trading off of the top, but that's to be expected. We were expecting a corrective pullback off of the highs, and that's what we're seeing so far. That doesn't mean they can't come up and make a new high. It means that we were expecting an ABC pattern to the downside regardless of how this played out, and so we wouldn't expect to see an impulsive move. So what we'd be looking for here is either this A, B, C down toward the 15,000, 15,200 area, and then the next leg up that would eventually take us to all-time highs, or we'd be looking for a bigger ABC in conjunction with a 5-wave move on ES that took us down here for an A, B, C for our next pattern lower, and that would have the Nasdaq looking much lower from there. So really going to depend on if they can make another high or not. But in either case on the Nasdaq, we're looking for a 3-wave pullback, whether it's this wave 2 that takes us down to around 15,000 to 15,200, or this bigger wave A that would take us down toward the 14.6 area. So Nasdaq doing what it's supposed to, kind of having choppy behavior. They can still come up and make a new high, but we would still expect an ABC pullback, which is why the ES pullback is so important. If it's 5 waves, that is a bearish sign for the market. If it's 3 waves, as I have on the chart here, if the ES pullback is 3 waves, then we would expect to hold support and look for the ES and the Nasdaq both to move toward all-time highs. Guys, if you love the information that I put out in these videos and you want real-time market updates from me, you need to check out investwithjacob.com. There's a link down in the description. Go ahead and click that link. It'll take you right over to the webpage. Once you're there, check out our membership plans area. We have 2 incredible plans, and they both come with a 7-day free trial because I want you to get in there. I want you to become part of the trading team. I want you to make sure it's a community that you love and want to be a part of before you ever spend a penny. You can cancel at any time. We also have our Elliott Wave for Beginners online course. This course is helping real traders make real money and finally understand the market in a way that makes sense. It can be very confusing when good news makes the market go down and bad news makes the market go up because the news doesn't drive the market. Sentiment does. It gives you the key levels and lets you know what happens when they break so that you can understand what the market's supposed to be doing, where support and resistance are, what happens if they break, and finally make sense of a market that's irrational. The videos themselves, it's 25 videos in 3 parts. I go through the introduction where we go over your expectations, your mindset, the KISS method, and why Elliott Wave Theory works. We also go through your chart setup and tools where I give you each tool that you need to use along with the Elliott Wave Theory to find those tops and bottoms, twists, turns, and make sure your waves are correct. And then the Elliott Wave for Beginners area where I go through each of the waves, what they look like when they fail, how to measure them, how to use the tools. I go through the corrective depth theory, the theory of alternation, the pivot, everything you want to know to understand Elliott Wave Theory so that you can make sense of an irrational market. The really cool thing, guys, is if you don't want to pay the $67, I completely understand, but it does come for free in both monthly rooms. So if you become a monthly member, you get that course for free. In my first room, the Invest with Jacob room, you get all of my real-time market updates, all of my buy and sell alerts, all of your Elliott Wave questions answered, a midday video where I go over exactly where we are in the counts and what to expect, as well as the Elliott Wave for Beginners online course. We trade the SPY and the QQQ, and we swing and day trade, so we do trade quite often. If you are looking for futures trading, individual stocks, as well as advanced trading, then you might want to check out PT's Throne Room. In there, you get everything you get in the Invest with Jacob room, as well as individual stocks, futures trading, and advanced trading like PT's reduced risk binary method that absolutely crushes the market. He gets you in at a cheap price, and he gets you big multiples on your money, and it's how he structures the trade that's so unique. Something you kind of have to see to understand, and that's another reason we give you that 7-day free trial. He also started a challenge account where he put $4,000 into an account, trading mini ES futures, averaging 3 to 4% gains per week, showing you how to build a small account into a large retirement or savings account. Guys, we would love to have you in these rooms so we can all make money together. All right, the key takeaways for today: market is still range bound. It needs to break either the high or the low. We do look for one more high here for this wave 5 toward the 45.85 area, 45.90 area. But ultimately, we're looking for a break of that 45.38 area to give us a indication that the pullback has begun. We should see an acceleration down toward 4,500 from there, and then possibly a little bounce. But if they break 4,500, we would be looking to the 44.30 area pretty quickly. Over on the Nasdaq, chopping sideways for now. Pretty normal reaction from a high here. They can go up and make a nominal new high. The target for that would be 16,214 to 16,177. That would be where we'd look for another high. And then we would be looking for an ABC pullback and then checking what happens on the ES. A 3-wave pullback on the ES is bullish. A 5-wave is bearish. Guys, that is your market update for today. I will talk to you tomorrow.